Hello, my name is Jenny. Welcome back. Today's my topic is poetic and pictorial splendor, and this is part 5, understanding the poem Chinese poetic image password. So poetic image is like a password of Chinese literature. So why it's like this? Let's see this famous poem. Everyone can read this poem. Yes, a tranquil night. A bed, I see a silver light. I wonder if it's frost around. Looking up, I find the moon bright. Bowing in homesickness, I'm drowned. It translated by Xu Yuanchong. So this is a classical Chinese poem composed by Tang poet Li Bai. Creates a beautiful moonlight picture in your mind. The moon is always poetic source in Chinese literature all the time. So the moon festival is another evidence too. When you have departed from home for a long time, the moonlight often makes us homesick. That's why this poem is so popular for Chinese people for thousands of years. So that's the password. When you see the moon, you will connect with homesick. So this is another poem from Su Dongpo to the tune Water Song. And it said, what right does it have to be so cruel? What right to choose to shine so full, so bright, when we are so far apart? Mankind has its sorrows and joys, meetings and partings. The moon waxes and wanes in clear or cloudy skies. Things were even imperfect. May we all live long. May we all share, though a myriad miles apart, the same fair moon. So this is the when we have our mid-autumn, celebrate our mid-autumn festival, maybe every Chinese people will think of this Li Bai's poem and Su Dongpo's Ci. So this poem is associated with the Mid-Autumn Festival. It's related with this image of the moon and associated with family reunion. These poems are all related with moon and all related with the homesick. So we'll come to Ci. It's a kind of poem, but in fixed rhyme, fixed tone, and variable line length formal types. So we also called lines of irregular length, 长短句, and it's based upon certain definitive musical song tunes. This is 临江仙, a Ci. So we will know this Ci is also the theme song of the TV series Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Very popular TV series. This song has been very popular all over the country. So in this song is about at the end of Eastern Han Dynasty, the Chinese Empire was divided amongst the three big kingdoms under the family of warlords Cao Pi, Sun Quan, and Liu Bei, who engaged in violent attacks against each other. The story of the Three Kingdoms of 三国演义 is a historic tale that has been popularized in operas, folk stories, and novels. Here, in this 词, he talked about the white-haired fisherman and woodcutter observes the passing of the seedling from the river bank. We will talk about this image, the fisherman and woodcutter, especially the fisherman. So, the image of the fisherman and woodcutter suggests a life in tune with nature, away from even small villages. By the time of the Ming Dynasty, the characters of fisherman and woodcutter had been used in music, operas, plays, and poetry to represent the simple folk who knew the principles of heaven, earth, and worldly affairs. So, in the agriculture society of early China, 4 important professions were linked together, and they were personified by the fisherman, woodcutter, farmer, and scholar. Also, they are symbols of the reclusive life officials, often sought after retirement. Later, they became frequent subjects in popular art. So, why in this 词 talk about that fisherman? A fisherman is the image. It's like a password of like the password of the Chinese literature, some part. So we will see in Three Kingdoms, there are many famous stories about hero. So taking oath in a peach garden, like 3 visits to the thatched cottage, Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, Liu Bei, and they visit the cottage of Zhuge Liang to invite him. So Guan Yu, this is Guan Yu, scraped the poison off the bone. That's the very famous that Hua Tuo, he scraped the poison off the bone. So the Guan Yu is very, very brave. So this is another story to borrow arrows with thatched boats. I think you all familiar with these stories. So thousands of years of heroic past, the song of fishermen and woodcutters sings loudly. So there's a contrary. So the fisherman, why it's an image, why it's a password, like a secret in Chinese literature. So if you don't know the history or the meaning of the fisherman, so you can understand many of the Chinese poems. So like this, when talking about fishing in China, Jiang Taigong, also known as Jiang Ziya, is very likely to be the first name would come to people's mind. In the legend, and another fisherman, Fan Li, retired from his mission and lived with Xi Shi, very beautiful woman on a fishing boat. It's another story. Very charming story. So we all know the Dragon Boat Festival, 端午节. So the Dragon Boat Festival commemorates the death of Qu Yuan. We call him China's first poet. And there's a article about the dialogue between fisherman and Qu Yuan. So Qu Yuan said, for all the world is muddy, and I alone am clear. For all men are drunk, and I alone am sober. So the fisherman told him, if all the world is muddy, why not beat up the mud and stir up the waves? If all men are drunk, why not lap at their lees and drink their dregs? So Qu Yuan replied, I would rather jump into the river, bury myself in the bellies of the fish. So he really did that after. This is another fisherman's story about Yan Ziling fishing platform. Yan Ziling and Emperor Guang Wudi Liu Xiu, they are classmates, and they had actively helped Emperor Liu Xiu raise troops. After Liu Xiu ascended the throne, he repeatedly refused to be recruited and chose to live in seclusion on Mount Fuji. So many of these images, it has a symbol. It's like a symbol. It is like the password. So like willows symbolize the sorrow of separation in Chinese culture. We already know this in Wang Wei's that famous farewell song. So we can call that they seen in thought in scene. All the language of the scene becomes the language of emotion, projecting meaning into a scene. So many images. It has the meaning. It has the very spatial meaning in Chinese cultural background. It's like the key, like a password of many poems. We understand that, and then we can understand the poem, and it's connected with the feelings you want to put in your painting. And welcome back to our part 6. Thank you.